Welcome back, everyone, to the Call of Duty Championship presented by Xbox. I'm Golden Boy. This is Mr. X. We're going to be bringing you Trident T1 Daughters. I love watching the Aussies going up against some good friends of mine over at Rise Nation. This should be a phenomenal matchup, and the stakes are high because the winner of this match will go on into the top four of the upper bracket. I always get that mixed
upper,
up because
lower,
we
winners,
changed
losers.
the wording.
Yeah.
The upper bracket, and of course, they'll be in the money. They'll
Right.
be in the money.
The money's where you want to be.
The money's where you want to be.
The money is where you want to be.
Jerry Maguire had it right.
Yes, absolutely. You're 100% correct, Golden Boy. But no, this is going to be a great matchup. Aussies that we've been saying, Trident T1 Daughters known for their search and destroy gameplay.
Yes.
Same type of thing with Immunity,
Yes.
who we just saw on the Charlie stream.
When me and Ben casted Trident T1 Daughters versus Vitality Returns, you spoke about the search and destroy. Ben went into great detail about how search and destroy is pretty much the holy grail for the Australians as well as the French. That's why it was an absolute joy to watch. So expect Trident T1 Daughters to come out real strong. I don't know if Rise is ready for that search and destroy game.
No, I would say search and destroy is Rise's weakest game mode. I think that they're a very strong, respawn team. You have Fears, who I think the world of. Usually at the start of each of the Call of Duties, Fears is one
the best player,
if not the best player. So now he wasn't actually at CoD Champs last year. Started last season with Complexity. Then kind of laid low for a little bit.
Yep.
Now back for Call of Duty was on Strictly Business. Sensor says that was one of the hardest decisions was to drop Fears from Strictly Business. And,
that's right.
He's been tearing it up with Rise Nation.
Yeah, and I think that he works really well with this team because it allows him to be him, right?
Absolutely.
He's teaming with three people who just kind of share the same kind of mentality toward competitive gaming and also toward teaming together. Pac-Man and Wheats have been a duo for a very long time now. They even teamed together back in Call of Duty 4 to give you guys some perspective. But then you add Looney into that, former Team Fear member, actually joined them alongside with Moho, decided to part ways with Moho and go toward Rise Nation.
It's a long road for them.
Honestly, it's like you have a bunch of people who team together, and Fears, they just say, man, just slay.
Just do your thing.
Do what you got to do. And it works out for them.
A player like Fears, though, you don't want to put in a cage, so to speak. You don't want to tell him exactly what to do. You want to let him do his thing. And it's kind of like how with Karma was with Envy. I think they tried to put him too much of a box, and that's why that situation didn't work. But Rise Nation definitely not doing that with Fears, letting him go out on his own.
It's one of those things when you tell someone, and you could probably refer to this being with your passive complexity. You say, okay, we're picking you up because we need you to slay, right? When it should just be something that flows naturally with the team. And you see that happen quite a bit in with a lot of squads that they pick up like 2 Slayers and they're like, okay, you need to fill this role. And it's like, okay, I get it, but are you going to put me, are you going to help me to fill this role? And you made that reference with Karma and Envy. That's why he works so well with Complexity.
Yeah, he works well with Complexity because, when he first came onto the team, they pretty much just said, look, don't worry about anything but slaying. We want you to slay. Just do it wherever you find needed to be. When you know you can pick up kills, those are the spots we want you to play out of. We will just figure out everything else around you.
Yep, that's right. And now taking a look at the action here, Rise Nation currently going to be up by a couple of points, actually. 5 points to be exact. Fears finding one player over on the left side. He's going to go for the challenge, though. Opting to go upstairs, bear that in mind. And Fears gets that cue that he saw the top of his head, and he was able to take out Dens there. That's going to be a good connection for him. Now they're going to continue to advance on forward toward B, but bear this in mind. They had the control, ended up losing 2 players, and had to drop back because their A flight got neutralized. We mentioned this before when you see Domination on Sovereign X, where players like to push home flags. That's the name of the game when you're talking about Domination on Sovereign.
Oh, absolutely. When you can get those split home flags and you can hold both those as a team, it really puts that other team only holding B in such a predicament. You're going to get either that server spawn or that snake spawn like we talk about Golden Boy.
Yeah.
You're going to have to make a split-second decision as a team, and those are the hardest decisions to make, getting everybody on the same page, rotating to the right flags.
Yeah, it's a tough call to make, but it seems like Rise Nation continuing to hold this off as best as they can, but they are going to be losing A, and we are going to see trip cap here. But wait a minute, just as we thought that was going to happen, Fears comes up clutch, and he is going to try and win C, but he has to watch out for his right side. Ooh. He is going to get picked off. Wheats will be there for the pick, though, and C is going to be neutralized, meaning that no one's going to be getting any points off of that. But there's going to be 2 players inside, and that is not going to be a good look, though. Fears off the respawn. He's going to be over by A and trying to get this one back for his team. Meanwhile, on the B flag, you have Trident T1 Daughters going after it, but Rise Nation answers right back. Daughters with the lead, though, as they have about a 13-point lead over Rise.
Absolutely. You know, something interesting I'm going to point out here, Golden Boy, is you see in the bottom right of your screen, you see that kill feed.
Yeah.
You see none of the kills from this T1 Daughter team coming with assault rifles. It looks like they're running 4 subs, and this is what we were talking about.
Well, let's actually check it out. So we have Chilean. He's running an MTAR, obviously, with the muzzle brake, which you're going to see quite a bit. You have Denz off the respawn. Damage is running a Vector, and Ize's running a MTAR as well, and Denz is also running a Vector with a red dot. So yes, you're right, all SMGs. Meanwhile, on the other side, if you take a look at Fears, he's running a Remington. I don't even know if anyone else is running a Remington besides him. But what is incredible, though, is that they're still able to come back into this game. And I think that him using the Remington could come in handy so long as he could force them into positions that they don't want to be in.
Absolutely. You know, you saw that once T1 Daughters, you know, they had control pretty much off the start. They were able to hold that with those 4 subs. And that's really what's hard to do with an AR. It's hard to break those setups with an AR because you're not as mobile when you're just shooting. You know, you don't have steady aim. Most likely don't have marathon. You really can't get to those spots. So it's hard to break when you have an AR. But once you get control with an AR player on your team, it's a lot easier to hold those long lanes.
Good eyes there by Pac-Man as he was waiting for another player to come around the corner, hitting him with the free fire, but that's not going to happen. Fears is going to be there for that stop. Meanwhile, Pac-Man inside, he's got to watch out for the nade. He is going to take some, he's going to be a little red from that one, able to recover from it. And I love what he's doing. He's looking up at the nest, making sure that someone's not going to drop down. He has teammates with coverage, but unfortunately not on the green server side. So he ends up causing for that one and losing his placing. Looney with a double kill, though, as he was able to take out damage as well, I believe, of his Chilean. But nevertheless, though, he does get dropped. Now looking over at Pac-Man, the veteran, former 2008 national champion in Call of Duty 4 through the MLG Pro Circuit. When Major League Gaming first ran Call of Duty, he won the first title with Team Fear. Looking to replicate that same success again, I guess reenact old times, if you will, and come back strong here at the Call of Duty Championships. He's 76 to 62, and he was here last year with I believe it was Vintage. Vintage, and he was teaming with Wheats there as well. But these two players are much different from what they used to be.
Oh yeah, they are much different this year compared to last year. I mean, last year they were one of the teams that we scrimmed a lot going up into Call of Duty Championships.
And he was just coming back into it at that time, so it just shows the progress.
We were dominating them, you know. I was feeling real strong.
You were feeling good. 84 to 66 is the score of that game there, that first round, I should say. You do have 84. I wrote 86. I don't know why I wrote 86. But
giving them extra points.
Yeah, I know, right? So you have an 18-point lead in favor of Rise going into the half. I hope I got that math right. Of course, I know a lot of people like
subtraction, put that line, put that other line.
Put that line of the line and keep it there and do the addition. And
work with numbers,
Big stats here to point out, though. Fears 12-8. Definitely played well with that AR. I think that came in handy, especially when it came to watching lanes, especially underneath Nest.
Absolutely.
Anyone tried to challenge Nest, Fears was there. He did that at least 3 to 4 times. That was
he was able to lock down that mid-alley area by Nest, like you said. And also, I think one of the bigger plays of the game when pretty much at the start when he was able to go into A, he was able to pick up a few kills of guys trying to push his home flag.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a Rise Nation, you have to be extremely happy with that outcome. You were down by about, say, 24 points at one point. So, you know, to come back and, you know, actually take that first half of Dom, you got to be extremely confident going in that second half.
But, of course, looking at Trident T1 Daughters, this is a squad that, of course, has just taken the Call of Duty scene by storm with a dominating showing against FaZe, coming up big against Vitality Returns, and overall just impressing every single person who's a fan of competitive Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But Rise Nation, they also have been impressing people. The reason why they're here is because they trumped one of the teams that many believed was going to win the U.S. Finals, which was Curse Las Vegas, a team that some people felt should be here, but Rise Nation said, no, we are going to earn our place, and they dominated that game. Of course, it was a great matchup. Curse Las Vegas, a very talented team, or was a very talented team, but Rise Nation, this is why they're here, and it's not a fluke. This is the real deal.
No, both these teams aren't here by mistake, Golden Boy.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're here because these are two of the best Call of Duty teams in the world. You know, we've seen it the entire weekend that they've been so consistent on every game mode. You know, the Australians seem a little bit out of pace for, you know, the respawn game modes, but they actually came out really strong in this first half.
They did. They did. And they actually took the lead as well. I believe they were up by about 9 points.
They had a pretty sizable lead at one point. You know, once they lost control, they weren't able to break that setup. So I think you're going to see more aggression throughout the whole entirety of this match,
Ooh.
they're going to come back and win.
2 down right away, 3
3
down already. Fears gets taken out. Now they're going to be playing with that man down. Pac-Man's going to have to make some moves, but it seems like you are going to have Dens here. He's going to have to deal with 2 players, but he does manage to neutralize that flag back over to Damage now, as he will be navigating by B. Finding one right corner, easy pickings for him as he takes out Looney. Looney, a very talented player, and when I asked Pac-Man earlier, I said, you know, how do you feel about the squad coming into this? He said, Looney is a beast. Hands down, he is probably one of the best players in the game, and people just don't realize it yet. And I'm sure that as time goes by, they're going to realize that as well. But Trident T1 Daughters ain't having any of that.
No.
As they're currently going to be up 14-7 in place with 7 points. That means that they are going to be down by 11 points here, and they have a lot of work in front of them, but still so much time to work with. Honestly, this could look really good for Trident T1 Daughters.
Yeah, and I love the pressure that they put on the Rise Nation base goal. You know, right at the start of the game, they got 3 down. They were not shy about it. They pushed straight towards the other team's home flag.
Yeah, they're actually pushing right now. Chilean's going over towards C. And granted, they are losing A, though. Yeah. So, you know, you got to make that move eventually. Hopefully, we can see Chilean pull off this kill here up top. He's not going to be able to do anything with that. And switching over to Damage, he gets dropped. Izze is going to be the last one left alive. B is going to be up for the picking here. One player is going to be inside. That will be Wheats. Let's see if Izze is going to be able to respond to that. It seems like Wheats able to pick up a kill there on Damage, with Iskaru being alone by himself, hanging out. Solidarity. This isn't good. Yeah. He needs his teammates to come up. I know I said 3 different words for alone, but he got to reference the fact that he was there and he couldn't do anything, and that was a smart play. He could have challenged, but instead he opted to just turn around, change course, and try and see if he can assist at a home flag and cause some problems.
Yeah, you know, right now he's got to be a little more decisive, you know, taking a ton of time getting over here to A, and A is one of the hardest flags to take back Golden Boy. There's so many spots you can hide, whether it's on the second floor or the first floor, and we see Trident T1 Daughters go 4 down right there, so that is definitely not good.
Not good at all.
No bueno.
They end up losing B. There is going to be one member there. That will be a Chilean, but he gets taken out. On board with Den still, as he wants to fight his way toward B and maybe push home flag. There will be a player in front. That Vector, though, not going to be enough as Wheats turns around the corner and jump shots him with the MTAR. Iskaru, though, decides to pick up that Semtex grenade. Izze saying, well, or excuse me, the Remington, he used a Semtex grenade, but the Remington, because he figured, well, you know what, we kind of need that control at the long range, and Fears was crushing us there. With that said, Fears is 6-6, Mr. X, so yeah, when you think about it, they're doing a pretty solid job of being able to maintain this lead. They just got to get over that hump and be able to, you know, just take full control of this game. They have the means to do it, though.
Right, and you know, like we were saying before, when you have that 1 AR, it's a lot easier to hold those flags down, and you have when you're trying to break setups, and you know, you're really going to have to push the other team hard. That AR comes back to haunt you because, you know, you're picking up these kills at long range, Alex, right? And, you know, you're pushing up, and then those players are coming off the spawn, and you're at a very big disadvantage, you know, running towards their spawn when they're running out with a submachine gun. So, you know, I would like to see these guys change their classes a little bit more. You know, I think mid-game adjustments are extremely huge in this game.
Yeah, that's right. You know, if you could be able to read that and say, well, I think this isn't working out. Let's see if we could, you know, alter some things. But I want to point out here that Trident T1 Daughters are currently going to be in the lead by about 13 points here, so 14 points total. That is going to be within 4 points, spitting distance of them being able to take this game against Rise Nation. Game number 1 here. Now remember, the winner of this match will move on to the upper bracket top 4, upper bracket semifinals. That is for the money, folks. They're in there if they manage to win this one. Yeah. Both teams a lot on the line. No one wants to get sent to the losers bracket, and Izze continuing to push over by B. But it seems like the Aussies are giving up C. In turn, though, they're responding by hopefully trying to cap A. And there is going to be a player around there, and Chilean can't quite do it as we jump back over with Dens, knowing that he is going to have to make moves over by C.
Yeah, you know, right there, that was a huge play.
Big win.
Yeah, that's a huge win right there. But when Iskatu was in that green server side, Alex, you know, he had a teammate spawn right on him. And when that happened, you have to be aware enough that if you're not spawning at your home flag, that there's probably a player around there. So, you know, they should have rotated earlier right away once they went over towards C.
Right now, the score will be 83-68 right now, and it is just ticking down. I believe it's going to be a 2-point differential here between these two squads. I am not entirely certain. 86-71, they need to get this back, but I think this could very well be it. I'm not certain, though. Of course, I got to be able to catch up with this, but it seems like 88-75. We have I think that's going to do it. Rise Nation will be able to take game number 1 here in a nail-biter, but still a great matchup, though. 88-75 was your final score for that game. Of course, Trident T1 Daughters trying to take this one back. and I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that I want to confirm and everything that that was in fact a score. But yes, 13. So that means that yes, they lost by the matchup by 5 points.
Yep.
And probably Matt did the math before me on that one. Did you do the math before?
I mean, I knew that Rise Nation won. I wasn't exactly sure by how many.
I don't want to talk to you right now.
Why?
Break my heart.
I love you. Just remember that.
But you know what, though? With that said, a 5-point victory for Rise Nation shows them that Trident T1 Daughters are definitely not messing around.
No, this shouldn't be a match that they think they can walk through. I mean, this is a team Trident T1 Daughters that, I mean, they can easily end up in the semifinals.
Before we go to a break, S&D Warhawk, what do you think?
I'm going to take T1 Daughters.
T1 Daughters, Trident T1 Daughters. All right, we're going to see how all this works out for Trident T1 Daughters. Are they going to be able to tie this series up 1-1? Or will we see a 2-0 for Rise Nation? Of course, the action's hot and heavy here at the Charlie Stream. You're not going to want to go anywhere. This is the Call of Duty Championship presented by Xbox. We'll be right back.